Good morning. All right. It's good to be vertical. All right. Well, uh, I was thinking about some things that I did in my life to make some extra money. Uh, I got a bunch of them. Anyway, um, one of the things I did that I could do on my own time, not uh, when it was good for everybody else, was that I, I had all the equipment. I had a DeWalt drill, a cordless drill, and a few things. And what I did was I started installing those peepholes that you put in doors so you could look through and see who was out there. And anyway, I built kind of a jig to where it was fast for me to where I could mark the door for center. Most doors, metal doors, have like you could see the panels in the door and you could find center pretty easy because usually there's a little spot in the middle. It's about 6 inches that, you could just measure over, from one panel to the other. If it was 6 inches, just go right to the middle at three and make a dot, get it at the height that they wanted it. Um, and what I always did is I asked, who was primarily in the house. And if it was the wife and she was shorter, I'd say, walk up to the door and put your finger about the height of what's comfortable for you. And if the husband was taller or if the husband was shorter or whatever, I'd have them do it, or get pretty close, because if they're taller they can always scoot down and look through the hole, but it's hard if somebody's got to get up on their tippy toes. And so anyway, that's what I'd do, and I'd talk to them and about it and see if they wanted it, when they wanted it done, of course. Um, and then you drill your hole through the door, and you have to buy a a nice bit, like a carbide type hole bit, um, so you don't have issues. I had like a small, it was like a baby blanket that when I opened up the door, I slid the blanket underneath the door so it would pick up all the drill crumbs and stuff that, it would just, I'd have the door halfway open when I did it. And I had like, uh, I'd just hold it with my feet or whatever. And um, that blanket would catch all the dirt and debris, so I didn't have to carry a vacuum with me. I did have, my drill and the bit and uh, my tape and the jig that I made to hold everything uh, in my backpack. And so I just kind of took off walking, and I'd go through subdivisions and stuff and bang on doors at first. Um, it actually worked out really good because the thing was, uh, after I got all set up with it, I don't know, it might have cost me, if I had nothing, you know. Of course, if you're buying a cordless drill, it gets kind of pricey, but for the bit and all the stuff it takes to do those peepholes plus the peephole um, itself, and you drill the hole through the door and you screw the peephole together, and uh, you're pretty much done. And you got to practice. I mean, I bought a door at a yard sale. I did a wooden one. I picked up a metal one because I'd never done it before. It's one of them things that you don't do every day. So I practiced and practiced and practiced on it, and I just kept drilling holes and put the peephole in, and you figure it out. You figure out what you got to have to make a good clean job out of it, and you get better and faster at it. Um, and so you do your drilling. Hang on a second, Denny wants in, I guess. Who is it? Come on. Hey, Denny, do. Good morning. He's in here. Um, and so anyway, you learn, and you get efficient at it, and they pay you for it. But you keep track of everything, like the what the bit cost you and the peephole and all this stuff. And people are like, "Nah, I don't know if I want to. I can do it." Well, just I'm charging you. I mean, back in the day, I think I charged $25 or something to get it done. And most people didn't squabble at all about it because they didn't want to do it. And if they thought they could get it done for less and save themselves $5, they'd probably rather not and have you do it. And it actually worked out really good. But the problem with it is there was probably, by the time you buy the bit and a little file and stuff to kind of take care of the burr that's on the metal doors, or whatever it was that you needed, tape and all the stuff that um, go around on the door, because I used to use that blue tape, and I'd mark through that and I'd drill, and it would keep it from scratching up the door or anything like that. Then you peel your tape. Anyway, by the time you bought everything, you probably into it 40, 40 or $50 to get everything that you needed to do. And so people are like, oh yeah, hell, that was a good deal to get it done for 25. I don't know what all this stuff costs now. Um, but by the time you're buying peepholes and you're buying 50 of them at a time in bulk through um, Home Depot or whoever's got, I think I was buying a bunch of them from Home Depot, and I was getting the peepholes cheap. Um, I think I was picking them up for $6 or $7 or something um, at the time. Like I say, that was 100 years ago, but um, you know, it's just another thing that you can learn how to do. If you got a cordless drill, it's cheap. You buy two or three of these things, you go bang on a few doors. If it works out for you and you've practiced and you can do it efficiently and learn how to do it without jacking up a door and getting it center. I mean, a lot of these people, you'd do the first peephole, say it's 30, $40 or something like that. It could take you 10 minutes to do it. It's not a big deal. So you're not there very long. And then what I would do while I was doing it um, was, hey, you lived in the area long, blah, blah, blah. Kind of stress, it's nice to be able to look out the door without opening the door to see who's there. I mean, it's a weird world out there anymore. And so you could probably sell these things by the dozen. Um, and it doesn't take that long to do it. The first couple ones, like I say, practice. Denny's down here. So sorry, he's got my attention. Uh, but anyway, if you get good at it and you do a good job, um, and you just ask them, say, hey, is any of your neighbors, or you got friends in the neighborhood, or even if they're out of the neighborhood a little bit, you have any friends that might be interested in this? And then have a card. Get on Vistaprint and make out some cards. I mean, I made, like, all of my stuff was done on this like paper. I guess I could probably go get one because I probably got a ton of it. But I went to Staples or somewhere and had these little cards made up. I mean, it wasn't a business card, it was just like a piece of paper. And I used to leave them on people's doors that didn't have the peephole already in them. So I just shoved this piece of paper in there. Nobody was there. You bang on the door. And here's a tip. I did them out of hot pink paper one time, and I was banging on doors. Nobody answers, and so you put this little flyer in their door, just slide it in there, and you leave, and it had your phone number on it, your cell phone number, and they'd call. Right, it worked out good for a while. And one Saturday, I went through and I put all these little sheets of paper that had my phone number and stuff on it, talking about the peephole. Well, 90% of these front doors are metal and they're white, and it rained. This pink paper bled off on that white door or whatever color they had painted or anything like that. What a nightmare. I mean, I had people calling me all pissed off. So you got to be careful, right? You just do something different. I mean, now you can get online, you can go to Vistaprint and make your own business cards, bang on doors. If they're undecisive, or I got to talk to my husband or whatever it is, they realize how uncomfortable it was when you rang the doorbell or when you knocked on the door. If it wasn't um, Halloween trick or treat, it's like, who's behind that door, and they don't know. And so anyway, they think about that a little bit and they think, oh, it's $40. to get this done, but this guy will come and he'll take care of it. And the husband could say, oh yeah, well, I could do that. Well, by the time he buys all the equipment and the big drill bit and the people and everything else, it'll probably cost him $50 or $60 to do it himself, when you can do it for 40 or whatever it was. But talk about something that, could take you 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. You do it, you put your blanket or towel underneath the door. They understand you're trying to do a good job and you don't want to leave a mess. And you, all you do is slide that towel out from underneath the door and wad it up into a ball, and they pay you. Back in this day, people were paying you cash. You didn't want to take a check or whatever. But now, if you had a Square or something on your phone, they could just run a card. Um, you just come across all this stuff. It makes it easy. And if they said, hey, yeah, here's my card when you're done, and if you know anybody that might be interested, I'd love to earn their business. And uh, if you know somebody wants it done, I can come over and schedule an appointment and do it that way. Well, this did really good. I mean, I went out on some weekends when I wasn't working my other job or something, and I did this for a long time, and it made a lot of money. And it doesn't take a whole lot of skill. I mean, you just got to figure it out. But if you focus on figuring one thing out, you don't have to worry about a million different things. Like I said, it's kind of a weird world out there right now, and I mean, I wouldn't want to open the door without looking to see who it was first either. So uh, now might be a great time for that. But yeah, those little peoples, like I say, you probably pick up a few. They might cost you $10 a piece, but if you got online or looked on eBay and you put it in as bulk, you could probably get these peepholes for, I don't know. It seems like I was getting them for about $6. And it depends on which ones you get. Some of them are 180 degrees, and some of them are, 120 or whatever. Some are way cheaper than others, and it's kind of funny too, because after I got the first peephole in, and had it pretty much, I didn't clean up the mess yet or anything, and I'd say, hey, do you have children or do you have grandchildren or anything like that? And they said, yes, why? And so I'd say, do you want one put down below, low enough for your kids to look through, or grandkids or something like that? Oh, that's a great idea. And so I put one up for the adults. It was already in the door. And so, you know, to get another one for the kids, you just give it to them for a cheap price, right? You know, say, hey, you know what? I'll knock $5 off the next one. And so I would do one for like $25, the first one for $25, and then I would do the next one for $20 because I was already standing there. And they're like, yeah, yeah, let's do it. And so I got a bunch of doubles, um, both of them done, and I was already standing there. The towel was still under the door, and just drill another hole. Just bring it down wherever if they had kids in the house, bring them out. Where's the height of the smallest kid? Because all the rest of the kids can crouch down that far. So it is what it is. Sometimes they're just like, no, it's good enough. I'll get them stand on a chair or something like that, which works too. But and then they give you some referrals, and it worked out great, man. It was crazy good for a long time, and I mean I've probably got a bunch of these peepholes already sitting out in my shed that I could probably go back and do. But anyway, just another uh, thing that you could do. I mean, I would just stop at a neighborhood and I would put that backpack on and away I'd go, and I'd start doing it. And it was funny because when I did it in a neighborhood like that, or like some townhomes or whatever it was, condos, some of them are rental properties, okay, and they don't have the authority to drill a hole in a door. So I've never had anybody complain, and I'm sure I did plenty of them without asking, hey, do you own the home? But that's the owner of the building probably didn't okay it. So I don't know. Anyway, do it at your own risk. But if it's something that they okay, and they're like, why would they care if there's a people in the door, right? No. I can't imagine somebody getting bad that you installed it and then quit renting from them and went down the street somewhere else after that was installed in the door. But just know that could be an issue. But and the pink paper, don't do that. Go back to white paper or whatever, and leave your calling card if no one's there, because you've walked up the stairs. You might as well leave something, maybe some. But I used to get a ton of phone calls, and I'd set an appointment to come back and do it. It worked out good. But while I was doing it, you're talking to them a little bit just to keep the focus off from, you got a stranger putting a hole in your door. Just say, hey, if you have any friends in the neighborhood close and that might be interested, and they're on the phone, they're calling them, hey, I got a guy over here doing these peepholes. It's $25. Are you interested? Oh my gosh, I've wanted one for a long time. Can't get my husband to do it. Or you call anybody else, it's like you call somebody who installs windows or doors in a house and you say, hey, I want a peephole in my door. Yeah, sure, we can come out and do it. But there's an $80 service fee to drive out there, and then it's going to cost you $68 to get it done. And they're like, holy crap, $25. Yeah, I'll do that all day long. Well, it took you, took you 15 minutes to get the job done. You pulled up your towel, took some money. Thank you so much and have a great day. And you walked out by the street and you shook off the towel and you hooked it over your shoulder and you went to the next house. And it was quick and easy. I don't know, took you 15 minutes and you made $20. Granted, you had to buy a little bit of equipment. I already had it. I mean, I had everything I needed other than the right size drill bit, which I thought was a 5/8, but it's a hole. It's not it's a hole saw pretty much. It's just a micro hole saw. And man, I made it to where I would drill the first hole and then I ran a punch through that first hole. I had like a brass piece of pipe that went in, and there's foam and stuff in the door, and so you get a bunch of that stuff coming out. But I had this jig. It was a brass piece of pipe that went into the hole, the first hole, and then I had a center punch that fit real tight and in that piece of pipe, and so it went through and it hit the back side of the door. Okay, and then I just tapped it with a hammer and it put a ding on the other side of the door. Now I turned around, I found the little dent, put the center punch on it, doink, and hit that, made an indentation, and then started because that hole saw has a center punch built in. So you put that in that little dent and you drill from this side. So you drill from this side and you drill from this side, but you got center. And so that peephole goes through and you screw it together and it tightens up on the door, and there's your seal. Anyway, it was a clean job every single time. It was quick and easy. I probably got to the point where I could do one of them in 5 minutes max. And I mean, on a Saturday, you go from door to door to door and you start hitting this, and people are like wondering what's going on. And next thing you know, it just turns into a job all day. But, you start putting them in for that kind of price. Just check and do your first ones on what you can pick them up at the Home Depot or Lowe's. If it's $10, if it's whatever, get the cheap ones because they work. Get the cheaper ones, the better, because you can keep your price low. But if you run out, you can run over to Lowe's and you can pick some up. And the brass ones usually look good in the white door, and so do them brushed stainless looking ones. And if they ran out of that, I didn't have any problem with people taking the ones that were kind of like an antiqued color, like copper or something like that with the black. I never had any problems getting rid of any of them. If you could get black, it looks fine on a white door. But anyway, it's a great thing. And to be honest with you, to have kids or grandkids opening the door, or your wife or anything like that, opening the door when they don't know who's on the other side of that is nutty. I mean, at this point in the game, I guess. But so it's easy to sell. Anyway, just another short video. Get out there and make some money. You'd be shocked how much money you can make doing little stuff like that for people. Have a great day. Talk to you later.